waiting for Reddy to get his people to sign it again for the extension.
Wait, I
And
thought it was
it's-
supposed to close this
It's
week.
between title, it is,
Oh, okay.
but we have
Yeah.
we
It
have
is.
another extension. You know what's bad is Deb and Vicky are waiting for this thing to close because of all the calls they receive on it too, that they're like, anytime I walk past Vicky, she's kind of like, something about the Indians, and then it's like 44th. And this week,
Yeah,
this
are
is the
we gonna
week,
throw a ticker tape parade for that?
this is the
when it
week.
closes?
Yes.
Like, this is
We
the
should.
week.
So I put Ryan into our CRM yesterday and I showed him all the buyer leads we have for that and the renters. He goes, I mean, how many people have $13,000 to just give away? Why can't they use it to put a down payment on a real house?
Yeah.
And I said, trust me, when you say real house, this is the definition of shell. He was
Yeah.
like, this is so bad, Sophie. I said, I know. He
Yeah.
goes, we have to get in there and make these people buy something else. I said, please.
And that's part of the reason we have to educate the public on exactly how
Right.
it works. So, to your
Right.
point, not that we're gonna double back on that, when somebody says, can I use my American Express? You would say, well, you know, what type of research have you done in lieu of purchasing a home? I know because a used car is cheaper than this house, but there's a lot more responsibility that goes with it.
Right.
Mhm.
Have you spoke to a lender? How is your credit? Like, and if you find out like, oh, I do investments all the time, I have a pile of cash. Okay, well, maybe we can direct you to another property that's not contingent and get some of those other
Right.
Yeah.
low-end properties off. So, when you guys are going into your sync, go to the highest price. Start with the highest price. Start with the highest
Oh,
price.
let's see.
Like, see whatever leads are available, start with the highest price, always. Always, 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 no matter what, it's just extra zeros. So what else has happened?
Well, I kind of have something for everybody, that, unless you guys already know this, but I got an email from Deb this morning that they are, the phishing scam doc,
Is back.
it's back.
Okay.
Oh,
So, and I
okay.
clarified with her, anything that is currently under contract, it needs to be signed.
Did you guys?
Oh.
So you gotta go back
they're-
and sign
they're
it?
Going back.
Even though it's in the purchase agreement?
That's
Wow.
what I thought.
Yeah, I
That's
took
what the
I
thing
took a
said.
screenshot of what her thing said here, and this is what it says. It says, even though there is a reference to phishing in the exclusive right and offer, the phishing scam document has a detailed explanation and will continue to be a required document for your client to sign for every transaction. So then I, in return, sent her an email and I was like, just to clarify, does this mean that anything that we have under contract that needs signed? And she said, yes, please.
Oh.
So
Is
we
it in the
gotta
drive?
backtrack.
I'm gonna have to
Is it the
update that.
original one, or is it a new one?
That is something I'll have to
I
ask
don't
her.
And
know.
she doesn't know what the original one is.
I do, I do, yeah, I
It
don't
should
know
be
what, I told Betty about
The
it
office
too.
phishing scams, probably it has to be the same as ours.
Oh,
I believe it's the same one that we were using.
No, we don't use one we haven't
No,
been using
I
one.
can
I'm
check
saying
on
the
that
one-
for us.
We
when
used
we're done.
before.
The one we
Yeah,
did
because
was
they
ours
ready
in
to
the office.
have
Yeah.
it taken
Oh,
out of
no,
the
I know.
drive.
What
So
I'm
we
saying
said
is
there's
it's
not
got
one
the-
in there for us to pull
What I'm
out.
saying is,
Yeah,
it's
well,
probably, well, yeah, we
I'll
wouldn't
check and
change it
see
for
if it's
Dream
any
Team, but
different.
it might be the original one that we
Don't
had
worry,
before.
and I'll let you know. That'll save you the extra stuff, so.
It's a voting scam.
Odin scam.
Okay, cool.
God.
So, the other thing too is we're desperately trying to get this back to future business session after we're done here, which is do all your lead gen, sync leads, warm sphere, get creative, walk around Parker Park, don't really care what you do exactly. But everybody seems to be kind of locking in on, oh, I have to take care of this and this and this and that. This is supposed to be for future stuff, like at 11:01, then go after setting your appointments, returning emails, all that kind of thing. So try to get yourself back to that, because the success of this is time blocking. And we've kind of slowly gotten away from that. It really should, in a perfect world, should be, we end here, we go back there, and then everybody is trying to make contact with those leads. I would like to try to set something up where we did have a bell back there, which we set an
There used to be
appointment.
one.
Yeah, like hit the bell, so we know that there's another appointment.
We have one in Dave's office. We used to put it out, but I forgot who was back there with us originally when we moved back there before you guys came on. And they used to complain about the bell. I'm like, it's motivation. So we had to take the bell away. But I have one, I will put it out. And then when we're done, I will put it away.
Yeah,
All right.
let's try that.
Yeah.
As more and more people start to, because this is gonna get busier, as you know. Daylight savings time starts Saturday.
Yeah, thank
Thank
God.
God.
So that to me says,
Especially with
Evening.
the
I'm
weather.
okay waking up in the morning now, but I'd rather wake up in the morning and have the sun shining already.
we'll
Right.
get there, we'll get there. But that means that there's gonna be a lot more availability for evening appointments during the week, because you have a whole another hour of daylight.
Right, right.
So that's usually when people go, oh, it's spring, I want to make sure you pre-qualify your buyers as well. Make sure you go through the whole spiel, so you know exactly what that's like. What's showing up outside of what I see you last for you guys?
I'm gonna be setting an appointment for, a house on Cedar Point Road. It's gonna be $900,000.
Okay.
Whoever is here the day I set that appointment is getting that appointment. That is what I was
I
told.
sold one out there.
Yeah, so I was told who's present, what did that, I forgot the metaphor she used, but it was really funny. But she said, you open the door, you look, you throw it on their calendar. And I'm like, well, what if it's somebody new? She goes, well, then you send somebody who's not new with them. I'm like, dear God.
Yay.
My answer is dear God.
I like
How's
that
that, how's
philosophy
that
much better.
coming in? Like, how did you get that?
It was from a previous expired that we had a long time ago, and this person hasn't listed in 2 years, but they went expired. And she's like, you realize that since my listing expired, you're only the third person who's called me in 2 years?
Hmm.
You know
I was like,
why?
wow.
Because the average agent's intimidated to call something at that price point, so they just skip
Right.
over it.
What did I just say? Go to the
Oh, the
highest
highest
price.
Mhm. So
Perfect.
I've been talking to her for a good 30 days. Her husband was in the hospital. He got out. She just wanted him to have a little bit of recovery time. So I'm calling her on Friday, and they might actually come out here to meet with someone,
Yep.
depending on how she feels. She goes, you guys have already seen photos of the house. So she goes, I mean, and your photographer can come out and take photos of it after we meet with you to discuss it. She goes, so we'll decide whether we want to come there or you guys come out here, which is fine with me at that price point. However it works, somebody will have time to be prepared.
Which
So,
part of Cedar Point Road is it on? Do you know?
God, the one that we sold, that Chris had, well, he sold 3 on that
But you
street.
did.
Yeah, it's on the northern end, not as far close to Cedar Point on the other side, but it's, she said that her end is a little secluded, like it's really quiet over there. She's like, even though you have traffic to Cedar Point, it's not the heavy traffic
I was gonna
end.
say, I think
Yeah.
the other end of it, they're doing heavy construction over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're blowing through there and then.
Yeah,
kind of
not where
all
she's
next
at
to you
though.
get Closer.
Yeah, not where she's
Okay.
at, so,
Well, good. So don't be intimidated by those higher prices.
right, right.
You know, instead of a million times, it's more zeros. It's the same contract, like, because it's over 500,000, you don't get like a gold leaf contract. And, you know, you don't have to like, you know, perfume it and turn it pink. You're like, it's the same bloody thing.
She's
Right.
really
So-
nice though, like she's really down to earth, which helps, you know what I mean? I think people are intimidated by the price point, they're like, oh my God, they're gonna be so bougie and, you know, this and that, and
So-
she's, but she's really not. She swore a couple times while we were on the phone, like at her cat and stuff that was happening, so I was like, thank God.
Don't worry.
It's a ritzy, it's a
Right.
ritzy Lydia Zook.
Yeah, so she's really nice though, so that'll be good.
Can only
Well,
imagine.
and what
Lydia
kind-
with more money.
what type of promotion can you do getting that listed? Than Circle Prospects?
And for her, commission wasn't even a problem. She didn't even question it when I talked to her. The only thing she said was, the last agent that we had did the correct, this is where a few swear words came in, so I'll just be nice and bleep those out, but she said,
My friend.
she said, the last agent we had had the shittiest pictures, and my home is one of the expensive ones on our end. She goes, the pictures were blurry. He cut out the island in the picture of my kitchen, which my island is phenomenal. She goes, I had him come out 3 times, and he finally got the island on the 3rd one. She goes,
How hard is it?
right, and so she's like, and I have, the back of her house has nothing but floor to ceiling windows and a wraparound, like a veranda room.
Over the bay.
And she said, he didn't even put that picture in. I was like, are you kidding? And she's
Who
like,
listed it before?
it was Howard Hannah.
Oh,
Way out there though, and which you don't really hear a whole lot of.
Right.
But she was like, and the reason we went with them is because everybody out here uses Harbor Realty and the same company and Remax. She goes, and so I thought, well, maybe if we use someone different, that'll be intriguing to people. They'll see a different sign, they'll want to come out. She goes,
I like that
and it would, yeah, and she goes, and it was so the worst experience ever. She goes, that's why we haven't relisted it.
Wow.
So,
Well, I had done this the other day, I told you I came up with this. And when they say to you, why should I hire the dream team? I said it into my phone, it says, because we're gonna work harder, we're gonna market better, we're gonna communicate better, we'll have better video, better photos, and we're not just gonna stick a sign in the yard and put in the MLS and hope and pray, we're gonna actually, and hope someone comes by, we're gonna actually prospect for buyers for the property. So that kind of summarizes why us.
You might want to add in
And
the company and the market center.
Right, but I'm talking about the dream team, when they say why the dream,
Yeah,
who we work with.
and you're gonna start marketing to 268
that
other
what we're at
agents
now? Good.
immediately. So
Uh-huh.
268 agents that oftentimes have more than one buyer that is in-house marketing that will put it in the fast lane immediately. That's why. You know, if you can find somebody else that works for a brokerage that large, the only people would be somebody like this. Then you can take the team value and add that to it if it's a solo agent. You know, if it's the team upstairs, yes, there's a lot of people on there, but you're not gonna get that concentrated attention that you will with only 15 of us, as opposed to 85.
Thank God.
You know, like
That's true.
all the above. So, I like that. Just don't be afraid to put about the company and the office.
I probably do that, I do that when I get to a page about the company.
Okay.
But when they, like, when I was just saying, when they're like, well, why your team versus anybody else? Basically, we're gonna work
So
harder,
in
we're gonna
your
market better, we're gonna, you know, just.
In your listing presentation, does it kind of cover it, and you just have to do it the right way? It should cover all those things. Then you go, okay. That's the person that you're going, you're flipping the page, and you start to lose them. That's when you have to pull them back in and go, okay, this is not working for you. We're gonna try plan B to communicate, so whatever that is. So I like it. I think it's all good.
And
Okay.
Betty did say when everybody gets their new listing book, you can rearrange the book, how you do your presentation. Just because it's in that format, she just wants you to use those pages. But she told Dave, turn it the way you want it, you know, organize it the
Make
way
it
you
yours.
want. Right,
I like that.
right.
Because I think that it's gonna get too stale for everybody to have to do the same thing if it doesn't appeal to them.
Right.
And that if you can make it your own, you're gonna invest in it more and it's gonna show in your presentation.
Well,
Really.
We do our, after I do the sync trainings, Betty wants me to do small listing presentations and buyer presentations and take 2 at a time. So the way we're gonna do that is because you do your presentation different than Amy does, different than, you know, Marty does. So, and plus we have a lot of newbies too, so I'll take one of you guys a little more seasoned with a newbie so they can see how you guys do it, because you guys are ultimately their mentors on the team, you know what I mean? And they're gonna wanna see how you guys do it, especially people who don't know how to do it at all. Like Katie, she's like, just throw me to wolves because I need to see something. So I was like, good.
Yep.
So, you know what I mean?
She has a buyer that wants to see something in Sugar
Nice.
that we may need some help with, so I'm just tossing it out there. All I got was a text message yesterday when I wasn't here. So she's supposed to come in today, she's gonna fill me in on what that is. We're gonna just throw her out there and go, she already has the buyer. I mean, it's warm sphere, so she doesn't have to do a buyer presentation. We just have to make sure that she has like pertinent things covered and just, you know, systematic things.
She hasn't done her MLS classes yet, even has she?
No. No, she hasn't. So she's kind of on the fast track to having a client who can actually turn it into something
Right.
because she has a buyer. It's just gonna be about filling out a contract, you know what I mean? So, if they like it, but we just have to make sure that she doesn't have somebody that's like, oh, you're a realtor? I just wanna see this house for fun. No,
Right,
We're not tour guides.
absolutely not.
Exactly.
we sell houses. So, just be aware that we may need a little bit of assistance for her. What else did I have to say? How are you guys handling lowball offers? Marty and Christine and I covered this on Friday. How are you handling lowball offers? As the buyer's agent, and they want to throw a lowball offer in, how are you handling it?
I'm not getting to that point because I'm explaining to them when we start the buyer presentation where the market is right now with the average could be anywhere from 95 to over 100% of asking. I said, so if you do come in with a lowball offer, you have a very high risk of completely not getting them to negotiate with you and you lose the house completely.
Sure. So then you have first-time home buyer, and now all of a sudden mommy and daddy roll in and change the whole trajectory of what you just said. How do
Okay,
you
I
handle it?
understand that you bought a home in the future. When was the last time you purchased a home? Because the market today is
Right.
not like the market was a week ago, and wasn't like it was a year ago. So if we can attempt to do this, but I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna lose this house and we're gonna keep losing houses. I've seen it over and over again. People on my team have had clients that have tried to attempt lowball offers and they've lost one house after another after another. So if you're prepared for that, which I'm not, but if you're prepared for that, this is how it's gonna show up.
Basically what I do too.
Yeah.
But I really haven't had anybody.
Because you're preparing them.
Right,
Yeah, I
right,
really
that's
don't,
the
I
point.
really haven't had people be like, I mean, crazy lowball. I haven't had that. So,
So why do you think that is?
because
There's a reason I have a smile on
I
my face right now.
educate them before we go in. And even if they do want to go slightly low, like I've had work slightly low, but not crazy low.
Mhm.
And, okay, well, in this area, I'll pull up trend graphics if I have to. We're at 98%. That offers 95%. If we go into multiples, you can come back up. How bad do you want this house?
Right.
And the sellers
And-
probably had represented by an agent who's explained to them
Right.
that they can probably get 98 or above. So if we go 95, my guess is because if I'm listing the house, I'm gonna tell them, don't accept this offer if you're not comfortable with it, because it is a little bit low and we believe. Now, if the house has been on the market for a year and no one's budging, I said, you might have a
Well,
little bit more.
that's different.
Yeah, but if there's
Always.
if there's a fresh listing,
Right.
then you gotta put yourself into the mind of the buyer and say, the mind of a seller, if you were a seller and someone came up with a low offer and you just listed, what would you say?
Well,
You
you'd
probably
have
would
better
want to wait
one.
and see what else is coming and check out.
Right.
So take it one step further. So now it's your listing, that's not necessarily your thing. And you receive a lowball offer. How do you handle that?
You present it to the sellers and you ask them what they want to do with it.
I stomped my feet first.
You did it?
Totally. In private, I stomped my feet.
Oh, okay, because it came in too low.
$25,000.
Okay,
that's-
so how did you
wow.
handle that?
I presented it. I told them I think it's much too low.
Okay, did you ask them what they thought about it first before you gave your
How
opinion?
did I say that?
What do you think of the sucky offer?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I
Flaming
said,
turd.
I said, I'm sending you over the offer. I don't know that you're going to love it. Take a look at it, and we'll talk about it.
Okay, so we discussed this earlier with the newer guys, and this is a good refresher. I don't have a problem with that, quite honestly. However, I ended up with mud on my face because I did exactly that. And they were so desperate to get out that it was too low, and they said to me, well, we were gonna take it, but if you seem to think that,
See, they came back to me because it's only been on, at that point, it would have been on the market less than 2 weeks. They came back to me and said, we're not that desperate.
right, so what I would do
Which
is
you would have
just,
learned in the beginning of how
just to be
that-
safe, especially if you're getting something from a sink leak where it's not warm here,
Right.
don't make the mistake that I did. Send the offer over, don't even look at it. As soon as you get it, I'm sending over the offer to you right now, I haven't had a chance to look at it. Send and then open it.
Ooh,
Yeah, send,
That's
then
scary.
open it. Why? It's not gonna change, correct?
yeah, that's true.
It's not gonna change on the paper
And
whether you open it first
And
or
you're not putting your emotions involved in it. You're
Correct,
giving them-
so-
Well, and if you're sending it as PDF, they can't just sign and you can't make changes. If you just
Yeah,
send
you-
PDF,
yeah.
just look at it.
Just send it over and take a look at it. I got it, I wanted to get to you right away because it's your decision. I haven't looked at it yet. Send it, open it. Now it's $25,000 below market. So stomp your feet, call Mark, swear, whatever you gotta do, like hiss at the cat, whatever. Then you call them and you say,
What are your thoughts? on
did you receive the offer? What are your thoughts? And as soon as they say, this is shit, oh, I'm so happy to hear you say this, like I want to crawl through the phone and like grab that person by the neck. I think we should counter. But you let them decide first.
Yeah.
Let them decide first, because I did it, and the house ended up sitting on the market for quite a bit longer than it should have, and they probably would have taken it. And it was low. It was at 260, and it came in at 238. Which is low.
Yeah.
And you keep it real, like the client was a bitch. But I did that, and they were like, well, we might have been able to work with that, but you're right. Stupid.
It's
Don't do
low,
that.
but I don't think it's insulting. It's still like 92% of asking.
Yeah, so consider that, like what we get comfortable in kind of what we're doing. I don't have a problem with the solidarity because we're wired very similarly. Like you want to be that person that's like, I'm here to represent you and I'm the professional. This is not acceptable. I'm not letting you do that. That's great as long as they provide you with that information, then jump on it
Right.
afterwards.
Well, and I totally, do I'm just giving you the information, you get to make the decision. If you're comfortable with this,
Mhm. Well-
and he came back with, we're not that desperate.
Right. I think it's fair to say, and it's a huge compliment and attribute to you all, that if you build that relationship with your clients, they're gonna trust your word. So you've got to be very, very careful how that gets lobbed up, because they say it's all in the delivery. Everything is in the delivery. You can greet somebody in the morning, and you can completely change the trajectory. You can go good morning, or you can go good morning. It's gonna make a completely different, it's gonna come across completely differently. So I'm more concerned with you guys already having that relationship with your clients and then saying something that would cause you to get in your own way. So just be very mindful of that, like, let them decide, then create the solidarity. That's where you're really gonna build that relationship of trust. Plus, it constantly reminds you, they decide, you facilitate, they decide, you facilitate. So I'm having to tap into that with all the newer agents that are coming in, and I'm like, don't do this, don't do that, no, don't do that, do it like this, because they just don't know.
Right.
But it's good for the rest of us to kind of be reminded how the process goes. Thoughts or questions about
I've
that?
had clients go both ways on that, on the whole low ball, sending it first, hey, I haven't had a chance to review it myself, I just wanted you to have it right away. And that's me typing, texting, yeah. I just wanted you to have it right away, and they review it, and they're actually, civil about it, okay, gotcha. And then they're like, can we get back and do that? I've also had it go where it's like, what are we paying you for if you haven't even looked at it yet? Well, I didn't
'Cause I
have a
wanted-
chance to, I wanted you to have it.
I wanted you to
right
get
away.
to it, I'm opening it up now.
Right.
So you send first, open now. What are we paying you for? Oh, I already looked at it, I just wanted to make sure that I got it to you,
Mhm.
and then I reviewed it because you're the priority. That's what you're paying me for.
Okay.
That's how I would have handled it. And don't leave a lag.
Right.
Like, literally send it, then go back and open it right away so you see it. And then you can maybe send a follow-up if you're concerned, if you're dealing with a client like that, to be conflict resolution based. Say, I just looked at it, have you had a chance to look at it yet? But keep it in front of them so that they can. Now, if it's somebody that you know, if it's Warm Sphere, or you kind of know, or you had a very, very serious conversation about 500 cash, and I don't want to haggle, and they come back and say 525, well, of course you're gonna get your ass chewed. But you just have to simply say, my job is to deliver all offers to you.
Mhm.
Obviously, this is not what we had agreed upon. It is my job to do that to you, but I'm not very happy with the fact that she just wasn't listening. Now that's on me. I told her exactly what you said, 500, no haggling, cash. And this is what I got back. Well, what do you think I'm gonna say? And I was like, you're gonna say 500 cash, no haggle. Right, okay, so that has to come from you. Of course, I already know that. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then the whole thing blew up. So, keep yourselves out of harm's way. What else?
Got the price reduction that we talked about for Johnson.
I saw that yesterday, very good.
Pumped up about it. I called her on the phone, and I told her, I said, I'm just looking at your area, and I've been checking the market in your area, and just, I know when we originally talked about coming up with this price, but however, I'm just analyzing the market over the last 6 months and the amount of showings you had, it probably would be a good idea to maybe have a reduction. This is my suggestion. Let me know what you think. She said, okay, let me think about it. It's going to take a couple days. She took a couple days, and she got back to me and said, that's good. I told her about Katie being someone who is right in that area,
Right,
practically
right.
was walking distance from your house. I said, we want to do an open house together, and she said, she messaged back, I'm not a huge fan of open houses, but if you think it's a good idea, I said, yeah, I said, to you, it'll be no different than a
I've
as
got
an
him
reduction of
getting
the
the
open
crap out of
house.
the garage and
I want that to
fixing
be on the
door.
flyers, I want it to be,
Did you have any showings
ever?
on that?
Oh, yeah, like 15 of them.
Okay, so then you go back to CSS.
A couple of them are duplicates, so
Okay, so just go back to CSS and say if you haven't found a home yet.
I did.
she takes care of that, I learned
That's you.
yesterday.
I did. Well, I sent it
checked.
and I said, price has been reduced, bring your buyers.
Right, yeah, that's,
Perfect.
Yeah, I knew
perfect.
that, okay,
So
that's what I get
So I don't,
when I've shown and.
yeah, because I
get that.
don't know, so that is something that you do.
that's what I asked
Oh.
yesterday, I wasn't sure
Yeah,
myself.
because we can't
And
get
she said I
into,
was-
we
I
can't
already
get
got
into
it.
Betty's CSS,
So
Right.
That's all
more
that
reason why we all
CSS.
do. Okay.
Yeah, go to
All
CSS.
right.
No, but you can-
Showings.com, and you can send an email to everybody.
No, you can still go into showings of your.
Showings.com.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
Showings.com, yeah, and you can go to the little
Well, we
tab,
don't
I
use
forget which tab.
showings.com.
CSS.
Yeah.
CSS
That's how you
is
set
showing.
up
Yeah,
all
you
their
can go in
showings.
there and see everything that happened on your
On
listing.
your
Go back and
listing.
do
Just
that.
because it's
Email.
listed under Betty's
Wait,
number,
what?
you
See,
control
okay,
them.
I'll
Amy's
stop.
mind is
I'll-
blown.
I'll stop. Firstly, you don't do a lot of listings, that's part of
No,
the
I know,
reason
I
you're
know.
not seeing
Amy's
it.
mind is
That's the first
blown,
thing.
you can see
Yeah.
it.
I didn't think we could touch any of that.
No,
Yeah,
but,
I didn't see them all.
but showings.com, what it does is you go in and you put the property address and it'll show you every single person that saw the property and their agent and their email address. So what you do is you go in and you check them all, you send a mass email and say, I know that you registered this property at one point in time, which is what Jessica already
And
did.
I took care of it 4 days, just because honestly, like normally I do it if somebody tells me to, but for Dave, like I just popped in my head and I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. And you went on there and you had saw that I already sent out an announcement,
No,
didn't
no.
you?
No,
No?
I just knew that that's something I used to do as an individual agent.
Right.
And I
Always
came in,
for a local.
I came in and I said, and I asked you, because I was about to do it, and you said,
Oh.
I already took
I
care of
wonder
it.
though, if you do, like, say I sent an announcement and you went on that Showings website, I wonder if it would say that there was an announcement already sent.
Populate
Oh, I
twice.
hadn't go back in.
It'll populate twice.
Yeah.
So anyhow,
So you're hitting them twice.
Oh,
which is
okay.
Which is okay.
Which is
Okay.
never a bad thing.
also on your listings, anytime you have a showing or a feedback, it should be coming to your
Oh,
email.
yeah, it does.
And
Well,
then
that's-
there's times where I've had people say, hey, my client kind of likes the property, blah, blah, blah. And I'll click on that name and I'll send them a separate email.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing my property. If you have any future questions, just kind of let them know.
Yeah.
And
I always throw in, there's been a lot of activity, I'm happy to see your interest, is there anything I can do for you?
you know,
So you're creating a little bit of urgency because we're not letting houses sit on the market overpriced with no activity, right? So you're not lying, but you're adding that little bit of urgency in there by saying, there's been a lot of activity. Just like if there's an offer coming in and your client says, no, I don't want them to know there's an offer coming in. Is it okay for me to say there's a lot of activity to create urgency, get their permission and do it? Good morning, Al.
Good
How are
morning,
you?
good sir.
Here, we're almost done, but we had a seat for you. Come on. So those are just some kind of fine-tuning things that you can do.
Hey, did Christina get your review title on that deal?
No.
That was a deal breaker, actually.
It was.
Really?
Yeah, they said the other offer was higher, if I may.
Yeah.
And that changing the title company was not in the best interest of the seller because they accepted your offer and it was lower. So I was like, switch it. She called me and I go, put it
Yeah,
back.
and then
Don't
put it
let
back.
break.
Leave
Go
it
put it
alone.
back. That's gonna be probably 1 in 10 that happens.
Though, because they're paying their own closing
As long as
costs.
it's not
Right.
You know,
Well, we have a
that was my
company
point to
that will give
her.
a rate.
You know what,
Yeah,
though?
so-
The lawyers.
But the buyers are
buyer-
paying their own closing costs, so,
What's the difference? Yes, so I wanna know who the agent is.
Well,
on
I
the other
think,
side.
I think
Tri-County Pro.
she's drawing up with an addendum. I think there's gonna be seller concession.
Yeah.
Oh, are they
The
now?
agent's name is Sharon something.
Yeah,
I helped her
Sharon
with it,
something.
Yeah.
Well,
Sharon-
if it is
Tri-County Pro.
Sharon
Sharon from
Fletcher
Tri-County.
or something?
Is it
Keller Williams, yeah.
Yeah.
Erwin
I wanna
Fletcher.
know who that name is.
Yeah.
And I think that title company's from that
Area.
Yeah.
Canton
Yeah.
area, so I don't know.
All right, well.
I thought it sounded like she was.
Title of
eyebrows
a title
hitting my
of
hair right at
alliance,
this
I think
point.
it is.
Huh?
My eyebrow is hitting my hairline.
Sometimes it's the agent saying, you got my seller wants to use your title company. The seller many times can care less what title company.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, the only thing is if there's a vested interest, meaning it was like a cousin or it's somebody they always do business with or whatever it
Right.
was, like instill the value, which is what I tell you guys to do with the title company,
Right.
is we use your review because.
And that's
There's
what I
more about
told
money,
her
they'll call
to tell
for us,
them.
whatever it
to-
is that they'll do it, and their rates are comparable. So she did lob up, your review is gonna have to match this other title company. Well, of course, they'll wiggle it all the way down to bare bones just to get the deal. Well, now you're haggling about a title company, we should be haggling about getting that house in contract and getting it sold.
Right.
So, 1 in 10 times that will occur, but don't let it be a deal breaker. As soon as she sent that over
Yeah,
to
as
me,
soon
I
as,
was
yeah,
like,
she
switch
didn't
back,
tell me
switch
that
back, switch
part.
back.
Yeah,
Deal,
switch back then.
It's not that big of a deal, like,
And she also said too, that I guess her buyers wrote a letter, and that was another reason why they
Cover letter.
considered
cover letter.
the price that she offered or whatever
Yeah.
for it, so.
Yeah, always a cover letter
Yeah.
with your buyers, you know that. Like, sold my first house well undervalued because of that letter. Raise our family in this house, we love it like you
Well, I'm
did.
seeing on the
Like,
seller side that they're like, hey, do you know anything about these people? What do you know about these people?
Yeah, right, they
I
wanna,
don't know anything about these people.
You
So
know,
if they write a
kids.
cover letter, then
I
that's
had my
them.
FHA offer
That's them
chosen because of
offering
that,
information.
over a cash
Well,
offer.
this one was too,
Simply because of that.
because 2 offers came in and Christina's going to lower. But they wrote a really nice cover letter and they said to the agent that returned it back to her, that said that cover letter did it. Okay, it melted their heart, what they put, and they wanted you to have it because as business oriented as we all are, people are still attached to their house. If I was gonna sell my house right now, that's probably the route I would go, as much as I'm cold hard plastic on the outside. It's like if somebody wanted to buy my house and they love it as much as I did, I'd
Right.
suck on the $3,000 or $4,000 to make sure that they had it, because I knew that I was leaving it in good hands, you know, so
Right.
we have to make sure that we keep that in our psyche, maybe not more for us guys than the girls, not to create a rash generalization, but you gotta stay in contact with that little bit of emotion there when you're working through that, because it can make or break a deal.
I used a small, it was not a letter, it was more of a paragraph that my buyer wrote to that person that wasn't on the market. And he said that, you know, I could really want to walk in the comment and say, I feel my family being raised in that. You know, the gentleman who's selling the house, we found was a pastor. So in the letter, Felix, who's also somewhat a religious man, he said, I want to thank you and God bless you and your family. Now, whether or not he did that, because I told him,
That's
he-
okay, that's okay.
but you know what?
Keeps it light, just
He
don't
when he
too
wrote
much
back, he
Bible
goes,
content,
your
but that's-
buyer seems like a
Yeah.
nice man, blah, blah, blah. But we had the inspection yesterday on that, and because they did a pre-list inspection when they first had it on the market, he's like, I barely can find anything. He goes,
they
everything
took
that
care of it.
everything that you would see that normally would be a red flag, he goes, I can see that some things were newly fixed and newly
They
replaced.
were addressed.
So he said, you're gonna see an extremely boring report. He goes,
All right.
We love
Those
that.
are great.
yeah.
It makes it, I don't see slide right through. It
Oh
makes it
my
slide right
God.
through.
And while he is very much, he jokes around, he is meticulous, and very
thorough.
serious,
Absolutely.
and you know, he's really, really, really good with
Yeah,
his
we're very
clients. and
lucky
not-
to be in partnership with them.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, that's good. So they're gonna set their session here, so we're gonna vacate. So, new business, new business, new business. Find it this morning. Find what you can. If you set an appointment, any of you set an appointment this morning, I will take you to lunch. Anywhere you wanna go. One appointment that turns into a contract, I will take you to lunch anywhere you wanna go.
He threw the
Wait,
comment.
no, I changed it.
It's gotta be over
That's all we need,
500.
right? Convert it,
Putting the
well,
bell up.
well, you heard I said anywhere you wanna go, like I'd be saying cabin club, I don't know, just saying. So,
I'm
get
going
on it.
Morton's with the broccoli.
And it only applies to you